must be the greatest. I told the world I'm the best ever.
Welcome to the DL Boxing Podcast. I am your host, Coach D, along with co-host Bad Chaz and neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, where we talk about the sport you and I love, boxing. All right, guys. Well, welcome back, guys. How you guys doing?
Good, doing great, man. How you been?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Pretty happy. I had a good weekend. Did you guys have a nice weekend?
Awesome weekend, man.
Yeah.
Had a really good time.
Yeah, really good time. Yeah, absolutely, guys. So, well, I'm pretty happy we have another guest on our show today. Let me introduce him. All the way from San Diego, California, working out of the Zoom corner, Cutman Juan Ramirez.
Hey, thank you guys for that
Juan.
introduction, and thank you guys for having me. First of all, I know we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but you know how that goes. I mean,
Yeah.
we could always expect something like that to happen. So thanks for the patience and for having me.
Oh, thank you very much for coming on, Juan. Well, let's get to it. Juan, tell the viewers, let's go back to the origins. How did you get into the Cutman game, Juan?
You know what? I think I always liked the fight game. I mean, growing up, my dad would watch Lucha Libre and just wrestling. So something about the ring, I think I was attracted to that. Never really got involved in boxing myself until I became a Cutman, but I think I always had that passion to get involved with it. And then 2005, I walked into a gym, an MMA gym here in Chula Vista, here in San Diego, and talked to the owner or the instructor, Norbert Amador, who used to train at the Lions Den with Ken Shamrock here also. And I just walked in and said, you know what, I want to be a Cutman. Is it okay if I come in and if any of you guys get hurt, I got my first aid kit here. I'll take care of them. Wow. And he kind of looked at me kind of weird. He goes, you know what, everybody wants to be a fighter. He goes, I've never heard of anybody coming in here to be a Cutman, but sure, man, come on down. So that's how it all started. That was the first contact into the fight world. That was it.
Yeah, amazing, Juan. Tell our viewers, what are some of the obstacles that you had to overcome to come out ahead in this game, man? I know it must be tough.
Well, one of the obstacles, there's a couple, but I think the first one, like getting into boxing, I got into the sport through MMA. In 2005, 2006, MMA became legal in California. So there wasn't a lot of people working the corners or specializing in that field. So I got involved in it. I mean, I started in MMA, started working a lot of the Camo amateur MMA shows here in California. And that's how I got, in this sport, you got to get out there and people got to trust you. So you got to put in work. And so that's the way I started. Got in there. That was the first obstacle, was getting in the sport. Second was to get an opportunity to work in boxing. And I got that opportunity here in San Diego with a couple of the local gyms, but I think it was after they saw that, I was out there in the trenches. They're like, you know what, why don't you come out and help us out? So those were the first, obstacles, time management. I mean, having a full-time job. This is one of those sports where you got to dedicate a lot of time, sacrifice a lot of miles on your car, driving up and down San Diego to, up Bakersfield, Fresno area, anywhere in between, just driving Arizona, Vegas. I mean, a lot of road work, but it's one of the things, I mean, you just got to have a passion for what you do. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. And now those that want to know, Juan, was there any medical classes or any education that needs to, that they need to go through to become a Cutman?
Yeah. Not necessarily, but I did take a first responder class. I'll obviously, doing your first aid stuff, but a lot of it you learn on the spots. As long as you're not afraid of blood, the smell of blood, sweat, and Vaseline, and everything else, spit, whatever you can think of. If you're not afraid and that doesn't gross you out, then you're on the right track.
Awesome. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Juan, for answering those questions. I'm gonna hand it over to my co-host, Bad Chaz, for some questions.
Yeah, so Juan, my question to you is, what are some of the common medications or treatment that you provide to, boxing and fighters and professional or amateurs? What do you use? What's in your tool bag?
My go-to is adrenaline 1,000. I mean, that's the one that I carry. But I do carry 1,000. Thrombin. I have thrombin as well. That's one of the legal medications in California, Las Vegas, and Avitine. So those three are part of my arsenal. And one of the most important one that a lot of people underestimate is the power of ice. Cold, and swell on any on bleeding will help you control that bleeding as well.
And what would you use the adrenaline for?
Cuts. I mean, any type of cut. So if they're bleeding, I mean, the first thing you do, wipe that cut, down, wipe the face. I mean, inspect the face. What's going on? How many injuries do we got? How many cuts? And then we start applying our medication. But those are some of the most common. I mean, there's also Quick Aid, which is I think it's made out of like seaweed. It's more of a natural ingredient in there that's used to stop the bleeding. And for after fight care, Stitch Duran actually just came out with a cut cream called the Cut Cream, and that's working wonders for people that spar. So if you spar, you get bruised up, a little cut. That stuff's working wonders for people. So, that's another thing to use.
Oh, okay. Do you wrap hands, by the way?
Yes. Yeah, wrapping hands is, and starting in MMA, that's probably one of the most, the most things that I started doing. My first show was at King of the Cage. I believe that was my first one in 2005. And I didn't know how to wrap hands at that time. I came out, I thought I had everything I needed. I had my bag, some swabs. I don't even think I had adrenaline at the time. But I walked out there. While I was in the locker room, and they were asking me if I knew how to wrap hands. I don't. I went out and bought a video on Ringside, of actual VHS video, and started, practicing, practicing. This was 2005, so YouTube wasn't that, big. Now you can see thousands of videos on hand wrapping, on pretty much anything you want. But back then, I mean, you had to go out and rent videos or buy videos from Ringside. And so got the video, started wrapping my friends, my family, just anybody who would let me, wrap. And MMA, doing the amateur shows, you're wrapping about 15, 20 people a night.
Wow.
So if for those people that want to get involved in as being a cutman, MMA, amateur MMA, I mean, that's probably the way to go, because the experience you're going to get there it's amazing. It's a lot of experience.
Okay. So how long was it? Obviously you have your own business there, Cutman for Hire. Now, how long was it where you were involved with the journeymanship of becoming a cutman before you had created your own little website there, your own business?
Oh, yeah. Well, the business started off like, I think I started selling t-shirts, Cutman for Hire. And then slowly I started, I would go to Ringside Title. And then I'm like, you kind of played around with a lot of different materials. And I'm like, nah, this doesn't work. Because you're in there, you're working, the fight. So you know what's working and what's not. So I go, I need to create something. There has to be a place for us cutman, cornerman to go to, a specialty shop. And so that's how that idea came about. And about, I think that was a little bit after I started. But yeah, that was part of it. And then it went hand in hand, working the corners. Like I said, in 2006, MMA became legal in California. I started working with Juanito Ibarra, who's, he's trained some boxers, but he was big in MMA as well. And he was really involved with the amateur circuit in California with Camo. It's nothing, I don't know if you guys have seen any of the Camo events. It's not like USA Boxing. These events, I mean, people are paying $50, $60. It's like real fights without the fighters getting paid. Basically, that's the way I look at it. Some of them may wear some kind of headgear. So we got a lot of experience. Juanito, got me involved. He goes, hey, you know what? Come on out. I have a lot of shows. So that's kind of how I got my foot more in the door, because I got to meet a lot of promoters, a lot of people in the business. Down the road, of course, I met Stitch, Stitch Duran, who's a good friend of mine, a business partner. And yeah, I mean, that's you kind of just meet people along the way that help you in your career. But both of those men have been a lot of help, even in the business part of it, because one thing's to get out there and do the work, but then there's also a business aspect of it. So learning all that, it takes some time, but I would say it was probably maybe 7 years, 8 years. I did a lot of the local, fights. Then I got a call to Bellator. Bellator's probably one of the, Bellator's probably the number 2 MMA promotion in the world, I would say. Got a call from them. I've had the opportunity to work with them. Recently, I worked with Top Rank. I'm one of the cutmen for Top Rank Boxing, along with Stitch and Mike Basil. When they're in San Diego, when they're local, I'm the third guy that goes out and helps them. So it's just, one doors just open.
That's awesome.
People start hearing about you, and you get the calls. I mean, when you first start, you want to be everywhere. Well, I wanted to be everywhere, and now I'm kind of like, I've kind of slowed down, and I'm at, I guess I not pick and choose, but if I work with you, it's because I really appreciate you. I can say that, I work with people because of, managing a business, family, my regular job, I got a 9-to-5 job. My profession is, I'm a social worker by profession. So, so that's one tip I can give, the guys or the ladies out there, just find balance in what you do, because it's very, like my friend was saying once, he goes, boxing's a jealous girl, or jealous person. She don't want to share you with nobody,
Right.
and this game can be the same way. Sometimes, it kind of pushes the pushes you to, like overcommit at times. So now I've learned to, I don't have to be everywhere. If I can't be somewhere, I'm like, hey bro, I got this, somebody called me, I can't take it. Do you mind? Do you want to? I'll cook you up. It's at that point right now where I can help out each other, help others, get those opportunities and stuff.
If you want the overtime, it's there. If not, you'll pass it on to one of your colleagues.
Yeah. Sometimes you can, and the thing is, it's not fair sometimes, because a lot of the fighters, they're not looking for somebody just for one time. They want it's a relationship you build with them. You want to build that relationship because they gotta trust you. So when you can't make it to their fight, it's like, damn, somebody part of my team is in here. So it's a relationship, it's a responsibility. And you gotta, I can't just say yes just because. I just had a call for a show up in Orange County, and I couldn't, I can't do it because I just I work. I already have another show lined up the next day. So, it's just not fair for the fighter. I gotta be there 100%. And so if I can't do it, then let somebody else that can do it.
That's understandable. I had another question. Have you ever worked any fights outside of the United States? Have you ever traveled internationally?
Yes. I've been to Thailand for Muay Thai. I've been to Australia for boxing. I got to go out there with Virgil Hill and one of his fighters. Recently, a couple of years ago, I went to South Africa for a championship fight that didn't happen. I think that's a good story. I didn't think we were going to leave South Africa. Our fighter couldn't fight. He got sick, and they're like, no, you got some explaining to do. And either you guys make this right or, I don't know. Right. I don't know what was going to happen. I'm home. So that was a good thing. But I've had a chance, Mexico, of course. But yeah, I've been to those places.
I have one more question, and I'll turn it over to my partner here. Now, as far as the medications go, that your common medications, is that like an international standard for licensing, to where it's going to be, you can use the same stuff basically here that you would use maybe in South Africa or in Europe or one of those foreign countries?
No, not necessarily, because I think England, they use adrenaline, and I've heard, I don't know if this is still true, but I've heard that they just give you a bottle. They're like, here, this is what you're going to use. Everybody uses the same thing, so it just depends on the commissions. When I've gone to Australia, Thailand, and South Africa, well, South Africa didn't happen, but they didn't even ask, they didn't even ask what I was going to use, but to be honest, I keep the California standards wherever I go, because I know California is one of the toughest commissions. So if you can do that, if you can stay, I guess ethical and all that stuff, then you're good. If you follow California, you're good. If you go to Nevada and they allow you to stack and you want to stack, then stack, that's all good. That you're not cheating because it's allowed there. So if they let you do it, then do it. But you're pretty safe. If you use California standards anywhere in the world, you're probably good to go because they run a tight ship here in California.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to turn it over to my partner.
Great questions, by the way, Bad Chaz. Hey,
Juan,
what's
good
up?
questions,
Rios here. Hey, I've always been intrigued, man, with what you guys do. Like, it's always been something I kind of researched. But I mean, I'm a huge boxing fan, so I mean, you have the best seat in the house, man. So it'd be hard for me to concentrate on doing a little bit of both, just because I'd be more of a fan than probably the Cutman. But how do you stay focused as far as, trying to do both? Because I know you have a relationship, like you said, a special relationship with the fighters, and you want to take care of them, but at the same time, you're rooting for them, so it's less work on you. But how do you stay balanced, like you said, between, taking care of the fighter and kind of watching what's going on?
You're so focused on your fighter and what's going on that you don't even have time. I mean, we're constantly looking at the what's going on with the fighter. If we don't have a good angle, then we're looking at the screen. If they got a big screen, we're looking up there. Okay, do you see any blood? Or the coach is talking to you like, hey, he's bleeding now. Sometimes we don't see everything, So yeah, you're there. That you're there to help out that fighter. So that's your main goal. I mean, you're there, you're pretty much zoned in. Everything's, non-existent. You're there just to take care of your guy and just focus on his face and any movements that you may see, anything weird that's going on. Let the coach know. I'm not there to coach. I'm there to assist that fighter in that corner. If the coach asks me something, then I'll give my opinion. But other than that, I stay quiet and just do my job. Before the fight, I always tell the fighter, the boxer, you do your thing. We're gonna do ours. You're in good hands. Don't worry about if you bleed, if you cut. We're here for you. You focus. Listen to coach and listen to the game plan. Everything else, you're gonna be good. I got the best, the best stuff to take care of you, and it's not our first rodeo, so. We kind of put them at ease, don't panic, everything's going to be okay. We'll take care of it. And even when it's not okay, we still stay cool and do our thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure your social work skills kick in and you make them feel at ease and stuff, because that's important. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't see that. I mean, being a Cutman is just not only knowing the rules and regulations, but it's an artwork. You know what I mean? It's something that's not for everybody. You know what I mean? And that's great that, you're able to find that balance and build that relationship, that rapport with the fighters. But what are some of the worst injuries that you see? What's the hardest to deal with? Is it bleeding? Is it swelling? I mean, what is it?
You know what? I mean, bleeding. Obviously bleeding, if it's bleeding into the face, that's the worst. But some of the nasty ones, one of the nastiest cuts that I've worked with was it was an MMA fight, and it was a chin on chin. They kicked, and the dude's chin just split right down. So the goal was, 'cause sometimes we freak out. Well, not us, but let's say you get injured, you look, you're bleeding, you're like, oh shoot, So our main goal was to keep the fighter, calm, that he wouldn't look at his injury and freak out. So we're like, you're good. Coach had him, was talking to him. I was working on that cut and he was fine. But that was one of the nastiest ones that I worked, and just trying to keep the fighter. And I think that's where the first aid stuff kind of kicked in, where they say, if somebody is hurt, cover, maybe put a little blanket in the area so they don't see what's going on, their broken toe or whatever it may be. Broken noses, those are pretty nasty, but they're manageable. Some of the cuts that are just hard to deal with are on the bridge of the nose. Those things, man, they're a pain in the ass. They just they don't want to stop bleeding, at times, but those ones are tough. The ones on the eye, sometimes you control the bleeding. I had one a couple weeks ago where the bleeding was stopped, but the cut was too bad, and the referee, the doctor decided that it wasn't going to go on, but he wasn't bleeding anymore. But I don't argue with the doctor. They're the doctor. So let them do, they let them do the job. They're caring for the fighters. So, that's it. But I would say those are probably the toughest ones. And in MMA, you see a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of elbows, maybe a knee to the head where you get Frankenstein looking cuts, or multiple cuts. Those are pretty nasty. I had one, he got cut. I guess he bit and it cut him down here. He had a hole on the bottom. So, just kind of, maintaining calm and putting some medication on it. But yeah, you see a lot of those, different things, and you just, take care of it and keep the fighter calm and move on.
Okay. One more question, and that'll be it for me. But after the fight, after everything's said and done, what happens next? Are you still treating them? How does that work?
So, yeah. So, a good cut man, a good corner man is there after. We're there before, prepping them. If it's boxing, maybe getting some Vaseline, getting the face moisturized so that, so that they go in, though they don't get cut right away. And then after the fight, especially when it's a loss, you really need to be there. If the boxer wants his space or her space, we give it to them. But we're there. I'm there. Icing them up. If we need to go to the ER, we're going to the ER. We've had that like in Mexico a couple of times, up northern California as well, where our fighter got knocked out or was bleeding a lot. Yeah. There we are, 3 a.m. in the ER. So yeah, you're there with them. You're there with them, especially when they bring you along as part of that team. You're there. If you're there with the promotion, the top rank hires Cutman. You'll be there to assist them in the dressing room, but we won't go to the ER and stuff like that. But when it's one of your guys that hired you to go out there and be a part of the team, we win. Like one of my friends says, we win together, we lose together.
Exactly.
You're there to take care of them. So a lot of post-fight care, icing, maybe their hands need some ice. So, have some ice bags with so they can put their hands on their, in ice. So yeah, always there. And then, they're usually, if they got to get stitched up, well, the doctor stitches them up in the dressing room. And then we're just there with them, just kind of chilling and making sure that that if they need something, or if they need us to go tell their wife or their girlfriend something, or their mom, that, that we post something or go reach out and let them know that they're okay. But yeah, it doesn't end when the fight ends. It doesn't end there. It shouldn't end there. If it's ending there and you came with that team and next thing you know, you're out drinking, partying in the crowd, and that corner, that fighter probably needs to reevaluate who he has on his team.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not what you want. And that's another thing. Not every cut man or, we don't mesh with everybody. So it's important to, for boxers or fighters to find somebody that they do, mesh with, because, if I don't like to party, but they like to go out and do this and that, and I'm not in that zone, or I don't like to do drugs or whatever, maybe they don't want to have me around, so so find the people, they'll find the right people, to work with them. And same thing, I tell other cut man, hey, find the team that you're comfortable with, so that it's fun, you go out there and have a good time, and enjoy the work that you do.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Juan.
Yeah. Coach D here, Juan. Fantastic insight. Of course, you guys are really the unsung heroes of the combat sports, giving the athlete that opportunity, to win, even though they're damaged and stuff like that. So, bringing the light into that is really, really great. We're going to finish off, Juan, with asking you some a little bit of fun questions, some light questions here. I'm going to start off. If you had a dream boxing bout, Juan, to work the corner for, which fighter would you work for and against who?
You know what? I would have loved to work a Gotti fight, Arturo Gotti fight.
Yeah.
Out in the East Coast, out in Jersey.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe against James Leja.
There you go. James Leja.
It was a bloody fight. So I think if we go old school, I would go with that would be a good fight. Just because he had some of the best cut men in his corner, and they kept him, he kept them busy.
Yeah.
We want to do work. We're there to do, to help out and stuff. So I think that would be the dream fight.
Love it. I love that answer, Juan.
Yeah.
Bad Chaz.
Okay. My question to you, Juan, is what are some treasurable moments that you've shared with fighters, maybe post-fight, pre-fight, after you've developed a rapport with these individuals? Is there any moments that you guys have shared maybe outside of the sport or you guys have done together? Is there anything there that you can elaborate on?
You know what I think, especially when it's teams that you worked, like I have a fighter, Ron Cruz. I started working with him since amateur Muay Thai. Then he went on to boxing, and I think we worked like 19 fights together. And I think it's that time, people think, they may have the idea that when you go out for a fight, you're out there partying, doing this, but man, it's traveling, you get there, the fighter needs to make weight. So during that time, you get to bond with them, So I know with Ron, just being and with him cutting weight, or hanging out in the room watching, maybe we're watching boxing or watching, Netflix or whatever. Those moments, they mean a lot. With the fighters, with the boxers, those moments, they're just good memories. We think back about those times, when we got snowed in or we missed our plane, things like that. So I think those are the special moments. A fight that I can remember was a really fun moment. Also was working with Emmanuel Robles out of San Diego. He actually fought Ugas. So Ugas was, he was having surgery. This was years ago, maybe like 10 years ago. Ugas was doing good, and then he had a couple of losses. He came to San Diego, and I think we were supposed to be the B-side. So he fought Emmanuel Robles. Emmanuel brought it that night, man, and he ended up beating him for the WBC Latino title. And just the electricity, it was San Diego. This is a San Diego kid. In that ring it was a small venue, but everybody, man, when they called out his name, they took pictures, and we were just also happy for him. It was just that moment. It's like those moments you want to relive over and over and over and over. You're like, man, that's a great feeling to see this kid work that hard, go against, the odds. He beat an Olympic fighter. I think Ugas had won a lot of, he had a good fighter, but he beat him that night. And that was just a very memorable moment for me.
That's awesome. I have one more question, Juan. Okay, so say you're working a title fight, boxing. You got a fighter that's injured. He's got a series of injuries, varying from a laceration, a broken nose, a broken jaw, to a hematoma to the eye. How are you going to prioritize dealing with that situation when you have, what would you say, 50 seconds in the corner?
Well, I think I can't do nothing about the broken jaw, but the laceration, if it's where the swelling's going on, I'm going to apply my Q-tip or my swab on that laceration. I'm going to apply the swab on top of that. On top the Enswell on top of that. So you're getting both. You're getting the medication and you're getting the cold to kind of calm down that that swelling, let it go down. And that's how I would deal with that one. I don't know what the other injury, arms or whatever. There's not much we can do about that. I had a kid over the weekend that we were working a fight, MMA fight. He dislocated his shoulder. I think the coach was trying to relocate, put it back in place. It didn't work out. It looked pretty painful, and it ended up not working. So my priority is making sure the blood's not going into the eyes and controlling the swelling so that he can see or she can see. So double. You get your medication, get your Enswell, your ice pack on top of it, and you take care of two birds with one stone.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, you got one last question for
one
for Juan?
Hypothetically speaking, if you had say 5 years left in the Cutman game, what are some goals you would like to accomplish before retiring?
You know what? And to be honest with you, that thought does come to mind at times, just because it can be stressful. Like I said, with a full-time job, family, everything. It gets a little tough at times. But I would say, I've worked MMA. I've worked Bellator. That's probably one of, Cage Warriors. In Mexico, UWC, they're one of the bigger promotions. So in MMA, I think I've done, a lot. But in boxing, I would like to work a world title shot, one of the major titles, to be in that corner and, and help somebody get to that title. That would be a dream. I mean, that'd be, the ultimate, I guess cherry on top. Because everything else, it's been good, but I think that, we all want as coaches or as Cutman, we want that, to get that champion and work with that, get a champion, work with them. And let it be, if it's a tough fight, then let it be, let us all show our skills that night and earn our, earn our paychecks and stuff. So yeah, that'd be it. I think I would like to, get a world title fight and be a cut man for a champion, a boxing champion.
I'm sure you will, Juan.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You keep up the great work. Hey, we'll speak to you afterwards, right?
Right, man. Yeah. And I thank you for the good vibes and for the good thoughts. I mean, that's always, that's our goal. And I tell people, man, take it, take your time with it. Doors will open up. God will take care of you. He'll, doors will open up. Things happen, just stay right and do people right and doors will open.
Yes.
They'll open for you.
I have one more question. Juan, tell us about your website.
Oh, yeah.
So, So, if you're looking for Cutman supplies, gauze, tape, Stitch, all of Stitch, Duran, Stitch premium products, we distribute those, videos. He has an older video on hand wrapping and things like that. Go to cutmanforhiresupplies.com or cutmanforhire.com. Either one would work. But yeah, we ship all over the world, man. We're so just grateful that, Japan, Australia, Canada, Mexico, South America, they reach out and I'm just grateful for that we're making an impact. Canelo uses our supplies, our wristbands, Robert Garcia, and these are people that buy. They're not asking for free items. I mean, these are people that believe. When people believe in what you bring, they will buy, they will purchase, they will support you. So I'm just grateful for
That's
that.
awesome. Now, is that online only, or do you have a store that you can walk into?
It's online. If you're in San Diego, there is a couple places, House of Boxing here in Paradise Hills. They carry some of our supplies. In Chula Vista, there is a store, and I cannot forget his name right now. It's next to Aldama Muay, and it is dude, I'm drawing a blank. But there are a couple places in San Diego that they carry our supplies, and a Vicious Fight Shop in San Diego, they carry our supplies, and we're looking to expand. I mean, everything's pretty much right now online, but in California, I think we're going to carry some, maybe 818 Boxing, and San Fernando will carry our supplies, and we're looking at seeing where we can place things. But right now, it's mainly it's the website. I mean, that's I mean, going into shops is nice. Some of the best shops, fight shops I've been to were in Thailand, and I'm like, dude, like I'm in heaven.
That's
You
awesome.
see all the gloves, the mitts. You're like, I want everything in the store. So getting the, I can totally feel, having those physical items where you can see it. I mean, it's good, but it seems like we're going more towards the online stuff for everything. So
Okay.
we'll see.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you, Juan, for joining us once again on the DL Boxing Podcast. We wish you nothing but the best.
Absolutely,
And
man.
hopefully we'll hook up again soon, man.
No, thank you guys, and I will share, your podcast with with everybody. I saw a couple episodes, and I like it. I like what you guys are doing. Very professional. You guys are doing your thing, and I appreciate the invite, and I hope to see you guys grow. Keep it. Keep at it.
Yeah.
Keep at it, because you guys are doing a good thing. So
Thank you, Juan.
anything I can do to help, let me know. If you guys want, some of my, other Cutman friends or whatever, let me know, and we can work it out. I can get you guys plugged in and stuff.
Sounds great.
Awesome, Juan.
Thank you so much, Juan.
Thank you, Juan.
Greatly appreciate that feedback. You guys are an inspiration to us. Like you said, we got to keep at it, and good things will come.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
Thank you. No, but thank you, the DO podcast, man. Thank you guys for having me, and I appreciate you guys, and God bless you guys.
Likewise.
Yeah.
You have a good night, Juan.
You too.
All right, guys, it's fight week. All right, guys, this Saturday we have a couple nice bouts to review and to actually look forward to. The first one, let's talk about the one that'll be on Showtime. We have Sebastian Fundora versus Carlos Ocampo. Fundora is a giant at 6'5", 154 pounder. He just obviously towers over all his competitors. Young kid, undefeated. He will be taking on Carlos Ocampo. Carlos Ocampo is better known at this time for losing in one round against Errol Spence. He got knocked out in the first round with a body shot. But since then, he's gone on a 12-0 win streak, 9 of them by KOs. So it should be an interesting scrap. What do you think, Chaz?
You know what? Like you said, like this guy's a big kid for
Huge,
his
yep.
age, for his weight class, and he's going up against stuff, and I mean he's just kind of outclassing everybody with his length, his size, his power.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you guys see it? I mean, he's a threat.
Yeah, dude, I love watching Sebastian fight, man. You know what I mean? This Ocampo, like, I don't really know. He's only lost to Spence, but at the same time, he's fought like the last 7 fights in Mexico.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to say. Like, you never know with these guys. You know what I mean? But like you said, Sebastian has height, he has reach, he has power, he has it all. And I just see maybe Sebastian stopping him in maybe like 5 or 6 rounds. It's
that
going to be an
sounds about
interesting
right.
fight, though.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely leaning towards Sebastian on this fight to stop
like
that.
even though he has that length, he still fights inside.
He is a good inside
yeah,
fighter, right?
It's
interesting.
Dude,
he can get it done.
Skills, man.
Yeah.
That's what he has, skills, dude.
He has a family full of fighters, so it's kind of like it's part of
he was born
his
into it.
upbringing. Yeah, so I mean, it's nothing new to him. I mean, what do you think, Coach D?
I think he's a good young contender in the junior middleweight 154 pound division. Like we said, 6'5", he's gonna tower over all his opponents. His opponents are gonna be punching up. He you know, like I said, he probably fights a little bit too much in close or in fighting for my liking, you know, especially with those advantages that he has. But yeah, I agree with neighborhood hero Ryan Rios. He should be able to take out Ocampo within the 5-6 round, you know, stoppage. And yeah, it'll be a nice little win for Fundora and move on to hopefully challenge the undisputed champ Charlo at that,
that'd be
division,
nice.
man.
Yeah, he wants him.
Yeah,
he wants him.
Yeah, so I'm taking Fundora, like you said. How about you? You taking Fundora?
Yeah,
as well?
Fundora probably later rounds.
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning more towards like 7 or 8 rounds.
Gets the work in. Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Well, that's that bout. Well, let's talk about the controversial bout. Well, it turned controversial bout. We have Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Let me educate some of you viewers. Like, okay, so who is Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn? Well, they're the sons of Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn. And these guys were UK royalty boxers back in the 90s. These guys were the best of the best. They had a war out, just a bomb war fight in 1990. Chris Eubank Sr. Defeated Nigel Benn via ninth round TKO. Just a back and forth war, bro. I mean, when you've watched boxing as long as I have, Brad, I mean, when you watch fights like, for example, Canelo GGG3 that we watched a couple weeks ago, when you watch that fight, it's like, was Canelo and GG sparring? Right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get that feeling. These guys were just hurting each other back and forth each round, bro. And yeah, so that's where that history started. And then they had a rematch in 1993, which ended up in the draw. Many people thought that Nigel Benn should have got the nod, so it should have been 1-1. But history says it's 1-0-1 for Chris Eubank Sr. So now their sons, Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, are reviving this rivalry, right? Sorts.
Okay.
Conor Benn, he's a 147 pounder. He's going to move up 10 pounds to the catch weight of 157 pounds. So he's moving up north 10 pounds. Eubank Jr., who is a middleweight at 160, he has to come down 3 pounds to 157 pounds. So this is a catch weight at 157 pounds. So with that said, at first you're thinking, well, this is more like a money grab fight, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to make that money off the names of their
Pay-per-view.
father. Right. Yeah. So with that said, guys, well, it's here, but just recently, Conor Benn failed a drug test. He had some type of testosterone booster in his system, And so right now the fight is up in limbo. They don't know if it's going to go on or not. Okay. So with that said, guys, let's just say that the fight will happen on Saturday. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, how do you see that bout, man?
Man, again, dude, like this is like an interesting matchup, man.
Yeah.
Just because of the history. You know what I mean?
Exactly, right.
And like when there's history on the line and it's kind of for your country, like people step up their game, dude. It's like a playoff. It's like a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's just pay-per-view. Like
Right.
you just expect the best, and people just, you know, they bring their A game all the time. And so like I'm big on Conor Benn. We were talking earlier about how he destroyed
Chris Algieri.
Chris Algieri, and Algieri's never been stopped.
Yeah.
You know? Well,
like
I take that back.
Earl
I
Smith.
take that back.
Yeah.
Knocked out like he was
Like one
against
punch.
Conor Benn.
Yeah.
And so I just figured after that, I go, dude, Conor Benn, man, to do that to Chris Algieri is just a beast.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Just the way he trains, just the way he just diets, just the way he just carries himself, man. It's just like a superstar already.
Right.
But then again, like Chris, man, like he's just a bigger guy, the stronger fighter.
Yeah. And he's played mind games. Let me stop you there. So let me tell you this: he's playing mind games with Conor Benn, saying he only has to be at 60% to beat him.
Yeah.
Right, because he has to lose to 3 pounds. He's saying he's abstaining from sex for 2 weeks for Conor Benn. For somebody else, he says it's 8 weeks. But for Conor Benn, since it's going to be a walk in the park, it's only 2 weeks, right? And he says 60% of himself is going to be good enough to beat him. Is that a mind game thing, or what do you think?
Of course, man.
Right?
You do that. You know, it's more build up to the fight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes when you play mind games on your opponent, it makes you even believe it. It makes you think like, hey, you know, like I'm gonna believe what I say, and you know what, he's gonna bow down to me. You know what I mean? And also too, his dad beat his father.
Yeah.
So that's a big mind game right there. And Conor Benn has to, you know,
Want to get back.
he has to like, you know, figure like, damn, like I don't want to be that. Like there's a lot of pressure on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting fight. And then you see all the commercials, all the build up to this fight. But my thing is, I want Conor Benn to win. He's on the up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a 147 pounder for sure.
Welterweight. Yep.
So, I mean, I want to see what he does in the 147 pounder. I want him to keep that unblemished record. I want to see him look impressive. And if he were to beat Chris, I mean, he's going to just look impressive.
If he beats him, man, he's a real deal. I mean, because I was telling you, this is too much of a dangerous fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a
Benn
very
to go
dangerous
up.
fight.
Yeah, like he has no reason other than to bring the names of their fathers back for that money grab.
And now that you said that, it's like, it's not even for a belt, right?
Yeah.
And this fight's a pay-per-view. And the thing is, it's not even about a belt. How great would that be to you know, like beat him for his father?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? How great would that be to beat him for your countrymen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a totally different storyline, you know what I mean? And I'm just so looking forward to this fight. You know, I'm not even like a huge fan of either fighter, but I'm a huge fan of this fight.
Yeah, me
So, I mean, I hope it continues, and
I hope it goes on,
You know, there's
right.
a lot of stuff that we don't know about, and I'm speaking on a fan. I'm speaking on if the fight was going to continue. And I mean, if you guys want to watch a fight, this is one of the fights that could be historical.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
I think like you know, Ben, like I've watched him up until this point. The only thing selling this fight really is the history that wasn't have anything to do with them. It was their fathers.
Maybe.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but they're somehow involved still, and they're selling this fight.
Yeah, it's like 30 years later, it's like, part 3 with their sons.
So I mean,
They're doing the trilogy.
you know, that's cool and all. I want to watch a good scrap, but yeah, Ben tested negative or positive for something having in his system. Like those guys are getting tested all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Ben's moving up, right? He's putting on more weight for this
Yeah,
fight.
muscle, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is he gonna have the same knockout power for this fight that he did with Chris Algieri? It's
hard to say.
For his
Hard to
other
say, right.
opponents. You know, if that's a factor in this situation, I feel like Chris is gonna be kind of more of the star in this fight.
Right, the bigger man.
The bigger man.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't really have to move around much. And then I think that's going to kind of come down what it comes down to. I don't think it has anything to do with the history that what's selling it. What's selling it is different from what is actually what it's going to come
Go
down
down
to
in
in
the
the ring.
right.
And
Yeah.
I think that those adjustments that they're having to make, you know, since it's a catch weight, I feel like that's going to be a huge factor in the outcome of the victory.
Could be, yeah. Very well.
But yeah, we'll tune in and we'll see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
You know, it's just like one of those movies, man. Like you get these movies, right? And then like 15 years later, you get the sequel. You know what I mean? It's just like that. And you have to see that sequel.
Right. Even
they promote it, they build it up.
Not, right?
Whether it's good or not, you have to see it. And that's exactly what we're getting.
I guess what I'm saying is originally I thought Benn, you know, he's bringing the power to this fight.
Yeah.
But since he's making those weight adjustments and he's coming up, does he
Who knows
carry
if
the
that
same,
carries?
does he carries
Right,
that power
yeah,
into that
that's the question.
added weight? And that's the only thing that I can really use possibly against him.
Yeah. Right.
No, I agree totally with what you said. And the speed's going to carry, obviously, but the power, that's what he has to beat. That's what we're hoping he carries up. And if he carries it up,
he's going to need it.
he's definitely going to need it.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to win him the fight. But when you go up in weight, it's just a big if.
You make adjustments.
Yeah.
You make adjustments to your weight. And other things change as well.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. With that said, let's just, if the fight goes through, let's make a little prediction. Neighborhood hero, Ryan Rios.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
The fight has been called off due to Conor Benn failing a drug test for fertility drug. I'm Conor Benn. Valio verga. Enjoy the rest of the DL Boxing Podcast.
All right, guys. Well, it's time for the segment One Hit Wonders. All right, One Hit Wonders, guys.
Boom.
Right? Yeah, we're sticking with knockouts, guys. So One Hit Wonders. What that is, guys, we're going to come up with a fight where the underdog scores a huge knockout victory and then goes on to really just, that's it, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
their
all
one
she
hit.
wrote.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Makes history. Who wants to go first?
Are you sure? No, you go, Coach T.
Coach T, all right, let's go. All right,
Kick it off, bro.
All right, I'm going to kick it off. 2006, we had Breidis Prescott versus Amir Khan.
Good one.
Now, you guys know Amir Khan at that time was undefeated. The next big thing in the UK. Everybody
With
had
wild
high
card,
hopes.
I believe.
Yeah, he was, he was the next Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He
dude.
takes on Breidis Prescott and doesn't last a minute. He gets wiped out. A left hook from Breidis Prescott just flattens him on the ground, man. To Khan's credit, he gets up wobbly as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Were those chicken legs or baby
Those
horse
are
legs?
Bambi legs and everything. Yeah, And I have no idea what. Well, I kind of know why the referee let him, continue because he was the next big thing, right? You got to give him you have to give him the chance. So the referee let him go into the slaughterhouse, and sure enough, Prescott lands another left hook that just flattens him out. He's like he can only lift his head up. He was like he was a pancake on the ground is what I want to say here. It was just bad, horrible. And it just, and from there on now, it just haunted him. Everybody knew he had that suspect chin, that glass chin. And once it was touched, he would Bambi dance and lay on the ground. But yeah, that is my one hit wonder. Breidis Prescott after that, he had more losses than wins. He tallied up, I believe, like 20 losses after that bout. So yeah, I would say that was his one hit wonder, man.
Nice, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see who I want to go. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios. Who was your Vanilla Ice, man?
You know what? I'll go with one of my most memorable, like even childhood moments was Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas.
Oh no, don't remind me of that.
Yeah, man, and it was well, anyway, dude, we're me and my buddies are all like cruising around on our bikes. I had this like lowrider bike. I thought it was cool, on my Schwinn,
80
pedaling
spoke.
around.
Yeah, 1990.
Exactly, with my little boom box.
You had that little baseball card in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, that's hard, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, but I see pictures and I'm just like, dude, what was I doing? You know what I mean? Well, anyway, I see my parents like pulling out of the driveway and they're like, hey, get in the car, let's go. We're gonna go watch Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah.
So like I cram in the car, I had like, my brothers in the car and then probably two cousins. I don't even remember, but anyway, we show up to a family member's house and we pull up and we all walk in and just the whole house is packed, man, jam packed.
Yeah.
You know, the couch is full, the dining table's full.
Yeah, they're all pulling the cable line from the neighbor's house over. So
No, dude, exactly. You know, my cousin had one of those boxes, right?
Right.
Where you
Scramble?
get the dude. You remember those?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we had.
Yeah.
So like we didn't have one of those, or else everybody would have been at my house, right? So like I walk into the house and I see like family members, I see cousins, I see friends and people around the neighborhood, dude. It was just jam packed, like I said. So like I weasel my way into the living room and I sit down. You know, I'm like 9-10 years old, and so you know the fight starts and man, Buster Douglas just had this jab, dude. You could never like forget, just this left jab, just sharp, just quick, just fast, and just dotting up like Mike Tyson, right? And so like we get out of the first round and we're all just kind of, the house is loud. Everybody's talking. Everybody's, you know, having a good time. It's just loud. You second round, same thing. And we're just like, you know, like Mike Tyson's like my childhood hero. You know what I mean?
They're
Like,
all, mijo, isn't Tyson supposed to
Yeah,
knock out
exactly.
already?
You know, everybody was starting to get a little
It's,
confused.
round 5. It's round 5.
so third round comes, right? Everybody's like, same thing. Buster Douglas just comes in, just puts on a just clinic on Tyson, man. And everybody's just starts getting quiet. You know, it starts getting a little eerie feeling, dude.
Like, what the hell?
So, you know, like, you know, all the rounds, you know, just start building up for Douglas. You know, he's just doing like magnificent, man. He's just putting on a masterclass performance.
Yeah.
That jab, that short right hook, everything's working for him, man. Like he just looks great, looks conditioned, just looks bigger, just, you know, getting off quicker. Well, you know, like we're all just like anticipating, you know, the whole time Mike Tyson's just going to come through. He's just going to load up on that power. Well, here comes 8th round. And then Mike Tyson just delivers this brutal, I want to say like a left hook and just
uppercut.
drops Douglas, you know, to the canvas. And I want to say it was like later towards the 8th round.
8th round, yeah. At the end
And
of the 8th
Douglas, man, just out of it, man. Well, he manages somehow to get up. And, you know, he gets up, but he's just like out on his feet, man. This guy's just out of it. And then, you know, like the ref, you know, like, all right, let's go, you know. So as soon as Tyson walks up to deliver that final blow, they call a round. And it's like, oh,
Saved by the bell.
man. He was saved by the bell.
Yeah.
Okay, well, everybody starts getting loud again. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, you know, screaming,
Got a fight on
yelling.
our hands.
Yeah, you know, dogs barking, you know, firecrackers going off, you know.
Dog started
And
barking.
so, you know, like ninth round comes out
Yeah.
and Douglas just, you know, Tyson goes out just reckless, man, just smells blood, man. And he just goes out there and he just kind of like wears himself out in the first like 20, 30 seconds. And Douglas again just comes out just, you know,
Takes
just
control again.
take control, dude, just showing his jab, showing that short right hook and just looking great. And then the 9th round comes and I want to say like he hurts Tyson, man, again.
Yeah.
Just
Against the
hurts
ropes.
him. The rope save him. And then what was it, the 10th round?
10th round was
Dude, Buster Douglas just delivers
Unloads.
the best combination I've ever seen in boxing, man.
Right?
And he just brutally just dismantles
sets him up
Tyson,
with the jab and then
sets him up, boom, delivers. Mike Tyson is just to the canvas, never been knocked down. Dude,
Right.
we're all just stunned, man. And I tell you, dude, like the house is jam-packed and you could hear crickets, man. And, you know, like the refs just, you know, counting and we're all like, get up, you know, Douglas did it, get up. Everybody's like, come on, Tyson, get up.
right.
And he's, you know, looking around for his mouthpiece. You know, he puts it in his mouth and by the time he stands up, they call the fight.
Yeah, he's out.
And it was just, wow, man. Like we were all just looking at each other, just stunned.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly even seen like, you know,
Tears
people
and shit.
crying,
Yeah.
dude. I kid you not, dude. I was
Yeah.
destroyed as a kid. I thought he was invincible, man.
I was telling him earlier.
Dude, I was
like,
destroyed, man. Like that's my hero.
See, I'm not alone. I'm not
Yeah, that's my hero. That's probably everybody's hero at the time. And to see him lose like that, dude, it was just brutal, dude. And everything was just quiet. Everybody packs up and leaves. Yeah, there's just a few of us that just stayed and just we're still stunned, man. Like what just happened? You know, Tyson was supposed to knock him out in 1 or 2 rounds.
right.
We're all supposed to have a good time and
Right.
you know, just like just talk about the fight. And now we're talking about just like our hero just getting like just punished, man. It was just crazy, man. But again, I'll never forget that fight. And again, I still watch it at least once or twice a year, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm still stunned.
Right? It's like,
You know, it's
yeah.
crazy, dude.
Man,
Like, I'll
yeah.
watch it and I'm still like, dude, that was the greatest moment in boxing, dude.
It was controversial. That
Well, you know what?
The way it
Every
played
year
out,
that I
though, was the way
watch
it
it,
played out.
like I count how many
Yeah.
seconds they gave Buster Douglas, and it seems a lot longer than they gave Tyson. So I mean, you're right, dude. Like I have seen that, but it's history's already written.
Yeah.
and it's like, what can you do but give Buster the nod?
Yeah.
and at
Yeah,
the
he
same
did his
time,
thing,
like.
man.
Like, dude, he had his mother that passed away, and I didn't
Yeah,
catch on
good
until
point,
like
good
years
point.
later.
Yeah.
And dude, you never can underestimate somebody with those
yeah,
emotions
super
under that
motivated, man.
circumstance.
Yeah.
And dude, if anything, man, like he deserved to win. He
Yeah.
came in better prepared, and
Yeah,
he never fought like that again.
Never again. No, and never again.
You know?
He was an underachiever, and sure enough, his next fight, he defended that undisputed heavyweight championship against Evander Holyfield, and
he lost.
and he got knocked out in
TKO.
3 rounds. Yeah. So that was his his big highlight. Yeah, against Mike
cool,
Tyson.
man.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Good
Yeah.
pick. Good pick.
Yeah, good pick, man. Good description, brother. It took me back, man.
Yeah.
That was no joke, man. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe what I was seeing, and
The heavyweights back then, man, they were just a different pedigree.
Dude,
Yeah.
man. 90s, man. Crazy
yeah,
time.
Yeah. All right, man. Bad Chaz. Who's your Sir Mix-a-Lot?
You know what, man? I'm gonna pick. It was on DAZN. It was Gabe Rosado versus Beck the Bully.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The zone was feeding Rosado to Beck the
Yeah.
Bully, right?
thought-
They were like, meat,
They're
right?
trying to
Hanging
feed
meat.
him to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like poor Freddie Roach, you know, just kind of trying to like do the best that he can for Rosado,
Right,
you know,
right.
like, but I love Rosado.
Yeah,
I
so
watch all of his
got
fights.
respect to Rosado, yeah,
I don't care for his, I mean, I don't judge him based on his record, but he's just solid, man.
Yeah,
He puts on a good show.
Always comes in
He takes
shape.
on any fight.
Anytime, anywhere,
Yep.
any place,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. He's gonna be game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, they were kind of preparing for Beck the Bully to kind of go in there and just take care of business and you know, wash up Rosado.
Right, put Rosado on his resume, right?
And you know, you watch that fight, and Rosado's just kind of like working on his timing, and it was his right hand. He just eventually landed it on Beck the Bully, and I mean, he put him to sleep.
Put him to sleep.
It was a brutal
knockout.
knockout, man.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you're just like, oh my god, like good for him. Like that day was coming, and like thank God, man, because it just felt like righteous. It
Yeah.
just was
Yeah.
just nice to see,
Right?
and it was just a really good celebration for everyone.
Yeah, all that hard work,
And
right?
it made me
That's
just that
over the
much
years.
bigger of a fan of his, you know.
Yeah,
so.
same here, dude. Like Gabe Rosado, dude. Like when you're talking about him, like I feel the same way, dude. And it was just like cheering for him, dude. Just excited for him, just happy. Man.
yeah.
It led to bigger things for him too.
Yeah, it led to the Munguia fight. Who else? Daniel
Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Daniel
Jacobs.
Jacobs.
That was a good win for Rosado, and yeah, like you said, like just a double impact knockout. It was just amazing to watch. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so that was
That's
definitely
mine,
a good
man.
one. That's yours. Good one, Bad
Yeah,
Chaz.
good one, dude.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, with that said, that concludes our podcast. Any shout outs, guys? We do, right? We have our new friend, Ricky Funes.
Yes. Ricky, man, you know, I talked to Ricky earlier this week, and just, man, dude, just a good guy to talk to.
Yeah,
you know what
at
I
a
mean?
Goosen's gym, right?
At a 10 Gooses gym. You know,
Yeah.
he's doing good things, you know, like
thank you.
he also has an Instagram, you know, make sure you guys follow and like. He's also has a YouTube channel. He'll be also doing a podcast.
Oh, cool,
And
cool.
make sure you follow, like, subscribe. We'll
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
be following him, you know.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, we look forward to talking to him and seeing him soon. You know, we're definitely going to go ahead and make a trip out to his gym and you know, go check out some of his fighters. And, man, we're super excited to meet him
yeah,
in person.
for sure.
So thanks, Ricky, again. You know,
Thanks, Ricky. Appreciate it, man.
Yep. Cool, man. Bad Chaz, any?
You know what? Just a shout out to Juan, Cutman for Hire.
Thank you, Juan.
Absolutely. Thank you, Juan.
Anybody that needs supplies for your corner and stuff, for your fighters and stuff, you know, check out his website, you know, and those guys will help you out and make sure that you guys got everything that you need for your corner, for whether it's an amateur fight all the way up to professionals. They got what you need.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to take a shout out to our sound guy, Rob, our
Thank you,
camera
Rob.
guy, Liam.
Thanks, Rob.
All
Thanks,
our
Liam.
viewers, you guys are the best. Remember to support us, you know, by liking our videos, subscribing, and sharing, guys. We will greatly appreciate it. Help us grow. All right, guys, with that said, we're excited to leave you with this episode. And with that said, we're out.